Into the final weekend of racing in the NARC Series, only 23 points separated leader Brent Kaeding and second place Paul McMahon. As followed on Speed Week all year long, the two battled back and forth in points and on the track. Here at Antioch, the battle was for fourth as Paul's younger brother Bobby was stealing the headlines, becoming the record 14th different winner this season. The series finale was held the next night at Chico. Only 17 points separating the leaders, and he did what he had to do, staying up front and ahead of McMahon. Brent put the icing on his championship cake with this move on the outside of Jason Statler. Just 6 laps to go, BK took the lead and held on for the win and his 8th NARC Series championship.
The points battle settles with Kaeding first, Paul McMahon second, older brother Bobby McMahon third, Kevin Pilot fourth, and DeCaris finishes fifth.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, on King of the West Tonight. You just saw a ESPN short from the year 1995, Brent Kaeding winning his 8th Northern Auto Racing Club championship, beating out a guy by the name of Paul McMahon, now, of course, with the World of Outlaws series. So, pretty cool to see something on ESPN back in the day. But hey, tonight's show is kind of 2 or 3 years in the making. We've been trying to have Brent Kaeding come on and do a sit-down. We actually went down to Kaeding Performance a couple weeks ago and got some words with the man himself right there in the Kaeding Performance conference room. And what can you say about Brent Kaeding? I mean, the guy has done almost everything he can in California and beyond.
Living legend.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer. 13-time Northern Auto Racing Club champion.
And a 13-time Golden State champion.
That's a lucky number for him, number 13. What do you say about the guy who's just about done it all in every kind of automobile there is, or race car there is?
Yeah, we talked about that on the show with Brent. Of course, his NASCAR career, driving the Black 69 midgets, right. But we also want to mention our play day at the Reno Tahoe Fernley Speedway is coming up on April 6th. That's a Saturday morning to meet about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Kind of the first introduction at the new surface up there at the Fernley Speedway, where Dan Simpson and the staff up there have been doing amazing work sifting rocks. And we see photos of the big giant sifter there getting rocks out of there. I mean, look at the level of bank is never before seen at Fernley. So
the newspaper was out there taking pictures of the equipment working, and Dan out there doing a lot of renovation to the Fernley Speedway. And if you're a racer and you want to go out and try out the racing service, April 6th, come on up and join the fun.
Yeah,
Reno Tahoe Fernley Speedway, and that's a week before the official kickoff of the Dan Simpson era at the Reno Tahoe Fernley Speedway. And it's also going to feature the first race for the new KWS lights, basically a 360 spec sprint with a wing.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited about that. Of course, I think 7 or 8 classes there, the Fernley 95A series. They get some great car counts, and I'm just really excited to check out the new surface to see how they adapt to that new surface, because it's going to be kind of a total rehaul of that. Of course, less rocks and a lot wider.
Wider, you said more banking.
More bank.
It's 13 degrees of banking, and they're actually banking the straightaways, so it should be a fast transition into the corners. Looking to see how it all works out, Gary.
Definitely. But before we get to our Brent Kaeding interview tonight, we also wanted to send our condolences and best wishes to the families involved in the tragic events at the Marysville Raceway Park a couple weeks ago. You know, we had a lot of this lately, and it's been pretty tough.
Dale Wonder Jim's been a fixture in as a sprint car owner for a lot of years.
Yeah, that famous 91. Yep.
You know, young up-and-comer kart racer in Marcus Johnson. Tragic. Tragic. And again, I hope, we've had a bad 16 months here in California with some of our sprint car heroes and fans, and having some tough situations. And I hope we can bring a lot of good from the tragedies that have happened.
It really kind of brings us all together and brings that family aspect back into it, because we all are into this stuff together. We race together, and it's really tough. I want to give a kudos to Andy Gregg. I know that he led a prayer out in the pit area that night, and I know everyone has been affected by this, and again, our best wishes, condolences to all the families involved.
Yes, our condolences, prayers to both everybody at Marysville Raceway Park and all the racers that were there, and everybody. It was a tragic situation, and I just hope it never happens again.
Yeah, definitely. And without further ado, we want to get into the first part of our interview with 13-time Golden State King of the West champion, Brent Kaeding. We are pleased and honored to be at Kaeding Performance with the living legend, Mr. Brent Kaeding. It's been about 2 years, Brent, we've been talking about coming down here and sitting you down, and I know you're a busy man, so we definitely want to thank you for taking the time out for us today and try and get the behind-the-scenes perspective on Brent Kaeding.
Okay. Hey, you know, you've been in this business a long time, and you know, at the beginning of your career, you know, 35 years ago now, I can't believe it's been that long. 35 years ago, do you think you were going to have the success you had so far?
No, I didn't imagine that at all. You know, I just started off my career fairly young at that point, I thought, but 20 was young then, but it's not now. It's old. There's guys with 5, 6 years experience by that age now.
Absolutely. And talk about growing up around the sport. I mean, you've really been ingrained with it, of course, with your father racing, but what was it like growing up around the races with your dad being Howard Kaeding?
It was a lot of fun, really, you know, as a young guy that we got to go to the races all the time. We were at San Jose Speedway, at Clovis, at Kearney Bowl. So we spent all our weekends at the racetrack, you know, riding in the back of the pickup on the way to the races, which I guess kids aren't allowed to do that today. Yeah. But that's something we did, you know, ran around the track, raced around the trees, and had a good time with the rest of the racers' kids. And never really thought I would be a race car driver. I had no plans of that at all, but it just all came together.
You talked about running around a racetrack with some of the other racers' kids. Did you end up racing against some of those kids?
Not really too many of them. No, some of them were either older and I didn't get the opportunity, you know, like the sergeants, they were a little bit older. Some of them were younger. Randy Woodward we hung out with back in the day, but he went a different direction. We raced a few times against him, but yeah, we're just fortunate, you know, to have a good career at this point and getting to watch the boys race.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Favorite racetrack of some of those old racetracks? You mentioned Clovis, San Jose.
Kearney Bowl was fun as a kid, you know. I mean, that was a fun racetrack. A lot of things to do there. Clovis was great, you know. We used to sneak off and run over to A&W Root Beer, do some crazy things, get away from the races. But yeah, I don't know if I really had a favorite. San Jose Speedway, I mean, that was everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the racing was great, the food was better.
Hey, we got a Facebook question too from this social media stuff that we do from a Kim Meters. This is kind of a 3-part question.
Okay.
The first part of it was, besides your father Howard, who inspired you the most in racing?
Oh, tough question. You know, there's been a lot of people that have inspired me throughout my career, but early on I would have to say probably Jan Flammer. He was, you know, a car builder back in the day, successful race team, successful businesses. He build race cars, race engines, and you know, I'd hope to, you know, be able to do the same thing someday. And you know, here we are today. We're fortunate to have a nice facility and a lot of great employees that are making it all possible.
Right. And if I remember right, was that one of the cars you always wished you wanted to drive was for Jan Flammer?
Oh yeah, I would have loved to have driven for Jan, but he got out of the sport before he probably figured I had the talent to drive for him. So, but you know, he built me some race cars. We built some super modifieds together, and we were very successful at San Jose. And a lot of that credit's due to him and the technology that he had at that time.
Cool, cool. And the second part of his question was, it has got to be an amazing feeling to have 2 sons follow the family tradition and become champions themselves. So I'm sure that's obviously got to be pretty special for you.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun watching Tim and Bud both grow as men and race car drivers and have the success they've had, wing, non-wing, and all over the country. And Tim just recently returned from Australia and had a tough time getting going, but towards the end they were going really well and won the Cricky race both nights. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Fun racing with them. It's probably more fun watching them than actually rubbing wheels.
Yeah, you guys had some good battles over the years.
Oh yeah, we have.
Well, Grandpa had a lot of influence on the 2 boys growing up too. I know seeing them at quarter midget races with him and micro midget races. And
oh yeah, Soapbox was always at the quarter midget races. He took them. We were busy racing, you know. We had our own career to take care of, and so I had to race to be able to afford them to race. So I was always off at the racetrack, and I really wasn't that involved in the quarter midget races or the micro midgets. Soap was the go-to guy there, get him to and from the track. But I mean, the boys would have to direct them on how to get there, but other than that, Bob did it.
you won Rookie of the Year honor at Santa Maria Speedway back in 1978. Tell us about that first year of driving, and a long haul from here to Santa Maria. It's not a short haul every week.
Yeah, really, you know, it seemed short at the time. You know, we used to run down on Friday nights, actually, and hang out at the beach. We'd even tow the race car out there every now and then and run it up and down the beach. But that just came together. I was fortunate enough, Bill Cunningham was the owner, back then, and he had purchased a car for himself to drive and my dad. So we went down there for a opening day, and Billy sat in the race car and things just didn't work out. He wasn't comfortable, and he stepped out of the car and asked me if I wanted to drive it. I'd had about 8 prior races in a midget. Drove a midget that Jim Smith owned, Radiator Jim out of Sunnyvale here. So I had a little experience, but I had no plans on being a driver. I was just working on them. So I'd put it together and hopped in, and we had success that night. I think we won the heat, top 5 in the feature, and from then on, I became the part-time driver along with my dad, and Billy never sat in the car again. He was comfortable with being an owner.
You won the first of your 13 NARC championships, the Northern Auto Racing Club, for those people that might not know. That was back when NARC was running without the wing. So is there any memories from that first championship year that really stood out for you?
Well, there's probably a lot of them, but I think the final race that season was at Baylands, if I remember correctly. And I know it was right down to the wire with Hank Butcher, and he was driving for maybe Roger Henderson, and also Dwayne Starr that year. I don't know, there was a problem. They had some problems and switch cars, but we had a lot of fun racing with the wing, without the wing. Very successful at Calistoga that year. We had some good races up there, racing with Leroy and all the guys. So I don't know any one particular thing that stands out from 1982 other than winning the title. I mean, that was a great accomplishment for myself and the team.
Right.
Speaking of non-wing racing, I mean, you went down to Southern California and ran some non-wing stuff against CRA at Ascot. You enjoy the non-wing stuff?
Yeah, I do. I really enjoy it. There was a point where, we were all heavily against it because of the danger of it, and everybody thought wings was the safer way to go, which still today I feel that way, but it's fun to get back in a race without the wing. The races are exciting. We had some success at Ascot, had a lot of fun going down there, and been racing again with the CRA and the USAC boys up here in our neighborhood.
And you won last year without the wing, didn't you, at your dad's race?
Yeah, we did.
You've done it pretty recently.
Yeah, so it's been fun.
We kind of fast forward to 1985. That was a great season, and you also won Turkey Night at Ascot, so in the midget.
Yeah, we were very fortunate that year. I mean, we had a great season in the sprint car. I think we won 25 races that year. Won a majority of the Northern Auto Racing Club races. Had the opportunity to race for Martin Hagopian, and everything came together at Ascot. And that was a great win at that time.
That's still one of the most
all the
prestigious
names
races
on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the record books forever.
Got another viewer question. This comes from Bill Thompson. He says, what trophy that you've ever won would you consider to be the most cherished in your career? If you could pick one, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I could pick a trophy. Trophy Cup. A few of the championship trophies that Mike Andretti was responsible making the steering wheel trophies. They're beautiful trophies, but I think the thing I cherish most, as I'd say, not a trophy, but just, the fans, the people you meet, the friends I've made along the way is probably the most thing I cherish over the past 35 years, yeah.
Well, we're going to take a little break right now, and when we come back, we'll have more with Brent Kaeding.
Welcome back, everyone, to King of the West Tonight, and there you have it, some words with Brent Kaeding, and a couple highlights from two of Brent's wins at the Silver Dollar Speedway in Chico. And George, you talk about Silver Dollar Speedway and Brent Kaeding; those two kind of go hand in hand together.
How about that 1989 highlight with Hurst and Kaeding? Wait a minute, that's not Kyle.
Yeah, that's Kyle's dad, Rick Hurst, of course, a former Northern Iowa Racing Club champion. In that second race, he passed Daryl Hannestad, a guy I know you probably watched at Baylands and San Jose and Calistoga back in the day.
Absolutely. That was a kind of a rivalry. Those two guys were hammer-down kind of guys, and it was always exciting when those two got together.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Brent Kaeding, the all-time winningest driver in the history of Silver Dollar Speedway. 88 wins now for Brent.
And who's number two?
Tim Kaeding.
Another Kaeding.
Just like in King of the West and Golden State, top two. But you think about Chico, it's a track that has probably had the most sprint car races of anyone up here in Northern California the last 20 years. And two guys that are known as San Jose drivers are top two at Chico, so pretty impressive.
They have something to do with the design of that racetrack, because that fits their driving
They
style.
might. And yeah, Brent's done a lot at Chico and over the years. He's got many Gold Cup wins, Bradway wins. He's won Outlaw prelims there, of course. The next race on our highlight package is an A-Main. Of course, a lot of our longtime fans might remember this, the 1991 Mini Gold Cup. It was one of those rough tracks, kind of an old school Chico, cowboy up type of deal, and I'd say BK cowboyed up in this one.
Big time.
Went to the top side, passed the Outlaws, and beat the Outlaws. Let's take a look.
Coming down, completing lap number 10. 10 laps down. 2 laps to go. Should be the white flag this time by. Running through the holes, and we are green underway on the back straightaway. Bobby Davis Jr. looking at the outside of the race. Oh, upside down hard into turn number 3. Looking to go green as Paul McMahon gets a new wheel, tags the rear of the field, and Kaufman leads him into turn number 3. A traffic jam in the back. Look at Steve Kinzer on the high side of Mark Kinzer. And Steve goes high. Brent Kaeding goes underneath Steve Kinzer, picks up a position. A good move by Brent Kaeding, who's on the outside. Kaeding on the move, goes around Mark Kinzer. Kaufman gets stuck behind Paul McMahon, and Blaney takes the lead on lap number 20. Kaeding goes around Joe Garrity. Kaeding now moves into the 3rd spot. Brent Kaeding is on the move on the top side. Kaeding moving up on the leaders as Kaufman tries to go around Beitler. Kaeding on the outside. Kaeding goes around. Kaufman moves into 2nd. Kaeding now looking for a way around Dave Blaney. Blaney goes to the high side. Kaeding has to follow. Kaeding dives down to the inside with the horsepower. Brent Kaeding takes the lead. California driver Brent Kaeding takes the win. 2nd place will go to Keith Kaufman. Dave Blaney is 3rd.
What made them stay low? Do you have any idea why they didn't move up and follow you around?
Well, it was evil up there. I mean, you get up there, you're going to get hurt. And, my guys had the car right, and their guys didn't. We outguessed them tonight, and the next race might be a little bit different. But tonight's our night, and we're just going to have to enjoy it here because They're far and few between.
We talk about some of the people you've met over the years. We want to kind of talk about some of the people that have been special to you. One person, of course, is Bob Miller. You guys had a string where you just won championships, it seemed like, every year. And how did that relationship come about, driving for Bob Miller, and just how special was that time together?
Well, Bob was good friends of ours back then. You know, he's local here in Los Gatos, and he raced midgets and good friends with the Radiator Jim, and I'd known Bob and followed his race cars, and he bought a few parts and pieces from us. He had Lee James drive for him and a few other people, and you know, that was a race car you always, you know, wanted to drive. My dad was fortunate enough to get to drive it, and I drove for Jay Williams in 1987, and that's when me and Billy Albini got hooked up together, and that only lasted a year or so. Bob said that you know, he'd been watching me, and he figured I'd torn up enough everybody else.
He told me that one time too, yes.
I might be done, you know, tearing up equipment, so he was ready to give me a shot. So, yeah, with, you know, Bob mentoring me and the Hogs, you know, he put together a great program, provided us with first-class equipment, and we had a blast racing.
I remember going to the shop at Los Gatos Body Shop. You had your whole building all to yourself. You hauled, the hauler was inside, and that was quite a setup.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and you know, Bob's a great guy. I mean, he gave us, you know, good equipment, like I said, and we couldn't have had more fun. Nobody has as much fun as we had.
Well, you mentioned Billy Albini, been with you for 3 years, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Great article just came out in Flat Out Magazine about Billy and your relationship, and he kind of likens it to being brothers. You know, you fight, but you don't really fight. He knows how to handle your personality, I guess. It's kind of one of the things he said.
Really? But, I haven't read this.
Oh, well.
You got to check it out.
Yeah, it's, we were going to bring it for you, but we figured we'd just spring it on you. But, I mean, that's a long-time relationship for a crew chief and a driver. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't anymore. I mean, things have changed today where these guys are doing it for a job, you know. Billy did it for the love of it. Same thing I've always done it for. I never did this to make a living, you know, I just did it because I loved it, and you know, things have changed, so, you know, nobody lays blame, you know, we win together, we lose together, and we don't mind arguing a little bit or yelling at each other, but yeah, I mean, we'll be together forever, as long as each one of us race, we're going to stay together, and all my guys have been with me for quite a long time.
I was going to say, you've got some crew members that have been with you 30 plus years.
Yeah, Richie, you know, he was with me in 1980 probably, you know, so Richie's been around a long time. Helped my dad a little bit. Cajun's been with us since 87. I mean, all the guys probably anywhere from 15 to 30 plus years. So very fortunate to have good owners, sponsors, and great crew for all my career. Yeah, it's been fun.
You know, another person we talked about has been a car owner, a sponsor, and a friend to you is Al Peterson. Yeah. And fans might remember you, of course, driving the famous number 2M car, and you guys won NARC or Golden State Championship every year that you were a combination. I know Al's been a big part of your career, and another person that's very special to you.
Yeah, yep, Al's a special person, you know, if you know Al, you know that, and great car owner and great sponsor, even a better friend, so he's been a great supporter of, you know, sprint car racing, and always provided us with, again, great equipment, let us do our own thing, you know, and had a lot of fun again, you know. I've been blessed with probably the two best car owners ever in sprint car racing. I mean, in their mind, you know, I've never made a mistake on the racetrack or done a thing wrong. I mean, I could tip the thing over leading or hit the fence, and they'll find a reason that it wasn't my fault.
That's the way an owner really
yeah, I'm very fortunate, very fortunate. Great people.
Hey, welcome back. Gary, what a charge through the field, an outlaw field. Who says you can't come from the back?
That's right, BK, of course. My dad took a video of that, of course, in 1991 of a friend of ours standing out on the track, and the ruts went up to his knees, I think. So it was pretty, that night was definitely a cowboy up, old school Chico track, and BK, one of his very impressive performances over the years, was at the all-time leading winner at Chico, and very good racing. Of course, past Dave Blaney to win that one.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
Another NASCAR guy.
Hey, what are we going to see next week?
Next week's going to be the second part of our two-part series with Brent Kaeding. We're going to get into kind of the business aspect. Of course, Kaeding Performance, one of the leaders in sprint car technology across the world. Everybody knows about Kaeding Performance. Been a great partner with us the last couple of years, and we're going to learn kind of about Brent's business background and what to expect in the future from BK.
I think we get into a little personal stuff there too, and learn a little bit more about the man and why we all love him so much, or in some cases we hate him so much. But we'll hope to bring you another side of Brent Kaeding that you may not have seen before. And again, it was our privilege to sit down with him and spend that much time with him, because he is a busy guy.
Yeah.
He runs a business. He's building race cars. He races. He does a lot outside of the business. So again, want to thank Brent for all that time as well.
Yeah, and of course our next show is going to be Thursday, April 4th. We don't do shows on Saturday.
Good job.
Thank God. Thursday, April 4th, and then following that, we're going to go into an every week schedule. So a lot of great things on tap. I know we said we have Dan Simpson coming up. I've also traveled to Pit Stop USA, talked to Ed Kokenauer, and
I think we're going to go to ART.
Going to go to ART and talk with Kyle Hurst, and planning trips down south. So we're trying to get on the road and try to get more of a behind-the-scenes tour of some of our King of the West Series drivers and teams.
I hope to bring you, or we hope to bring you some of the insights you don't get a chance to see. We don't get a chance to see.
That's right. Of course, tomorrow night, the World of Outlaws in town at the Merced Speedway, Georgia. I know we're excited about that. A lot of changes have gone over there the last few years. John Soares and the staff have put something in place every of the 3 years he's had it, and I think the current configuration's going to lead to the best racing we've ever seen there.
Yeah, he listened to the teams. He said, got to go back and tweak it a little more, made it a little more wider, made it a little bit longer. I think it's going to be a racier place. And, Merced's got a great grandstands, great fairgrounds, great place to watch a race.
Yeah, great place and beautiful for grandstands. I know those are some of the nicest we have in the state of California, so we're excited for that. And of course, remember to keep up with the latest and greatest on the King of the West Sprint Car Series by clicking onto kwsprints.com, our official website. All the news and updates are going to be on there. You can also follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram, which is becoming huge nowadays. KWS Sprints.
We have YouTube.
We're subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also call us at the office if you want that personal touch, hear a friendly voice or two. Area code 707-374-2222.
And sometimes Gary does answer the phone.
I do every once in a while. I take it away from you.
Hey, Gary, say good night.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you in Merced tomorrow night.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Northern Nevada Motorsports Show. This is the season opener, and we want to bring you up to date on everything that's going on with KWS Sprints and with 95A Fernley, Nevada. Break.